Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is JC. Today we're going to continue study Rockefeller's success stories. So let's just get started. Check your ego. Only fools get swelled up over money. John D. Rockefeller. From the above description, it may seem like Rockefeller was a prideful man, but this was far from the case. Throughout his life, he assiduously cultivated his humility. From the very start of his career, he keenly understood the way that power and wealth could lead to hubris, and intentionally trained himself not to be guided by ego. As his net worth began to steadily increase as a young man, he repeated proverbs like "Pride goes before a fall" to himself throughout the day, and at night he would encourage in an introspective examination of the state of his soul and his ego. Lying in bed, he would meditate on the volatility of the oil industry and the potential transience of his success, giving himself admonishments like, "You've got a fair fortune, you have a good property now, but suppose the oil fields gave out, and because you have got a start, you think you are quite a merchant. Look out, or you will lose your head. Go steady. Are you going to let this money puff you up? Keep your eyes open. Don't lose your balance." Such self-scrutiny, Rockefeller believed, helped him keep his head on straight. These intimate conversations with myself, I'm sure, had a great influence on my life. I was afraid I could not stand my prosperity and tried to teach myself not to get puffed off with any foolish notions. Rockefeller's membership in a faith community also aided him in keeping a level head. As a teenager, he had been baptized into the Erie Street Baptist Church, a small mission church attended by largely low-middle-class congregants. Rockefeller diligently attended its Friday night prayer services, as well as 2 Sabbath day services, and sought to serve the church however he could. He not only led prayers and taught Sunday school, but functioned as the church's volunteer clerk and even janitor. As a fellow congregant remembered, no work was beneath him, and he took care of whatever was needed. In those years, Rockefeller might have been found there any Sunday, sweeping out the halls, building a fire, lighting the lamps, cleaning the walks, ushering the people to their seats, studying the Bible, praying, singing, performing all the duties of an unselfish and thoroughgoing church member. He was nothing but a clerk and had little money, and yet he gave something to every organization in the little old church. Even as he grew into the richest man in the country, Rockefeller didn't defect to a more high-status mainland denomination or switch to attending one of the more well-to-do churches frequented by his Tony peers. Instead, he prized the chance to rub shoulders with folks in the most humble circumstances all the more, and never wanted to lose his connection with common people. Inside and outside the church, Rockefeller was perennially interested in and curious about other people, no matter their walk of life. Wherever he went, he asked those he met about themselves, and he listened attentively to what they had to say. At work, this interest in others extended both up and down the corporate ladder. His visits to the oil fields earned him the nickname the Sponge, for the way in which he keenly observed and absorbed all the information he could about how things were running. He conversed not only with those overseeing the operation, but with the rough wildcatters who were actually doing the drilling. When touring Standard Oil's refining facilities, he consistently asked supervisors how things could be improved, made a note of their suggestions in the pocket notebook he always carried with him, and then unfailingly followed up on their ideas. Such exchanges were motivated by Rockefeller's bedrock belief that it is very important to remember what other people tell you, not so much what you yourself already know. At the meetings of Standard Oil directors, Rockefeller sat not at the head of the conference table, but amongst his colleagues. He solicited everyone else's opinions before offering his own. Even when he did, he framed his ideas as suggestions or questions. Rather than trying to unilaterally enforce his will, he always talked in terms of we rather than I, encouraged compromise, and required all decisions to be made by consensus. As Chernow observes, far from this management style chafing his ego, Rockefeller happily delegated responsibilities and applauded the committee system as relegating him to a fifth wheel. Indeed, he liked to manage every level of Standard Oil with a light touch that allowed for the maximum autonomy of all his colleagues and subordinates. Even in his philanthropy, Rockefeller submerged his ego. Unlike many charitable patrons who wanted their name plastered on everything, Rockefeller typically preferred to be a silent, invisible partner in the projects he funded. He specifically asked that buildings not be named after him, and rarely visited the facilities he brought to life, not wishing to draw attention away from the good work being done and towards himself. That's a very good lesson in this section of the Rockefeller habits. And Rockefeller has been a very humble man, and I didn't even know that. It's very admirable. Even though he has a lot of money, I'm talking about like billions and billions of money, and in today's standard, no one actually surpassed him in terms of his wealth. So that's just tells like how successful he has been in terms of the financial achievement. But he is so humble, and this is something we should all learn from. I certainly learned a lot, and I hope you learned a lot too. So if you are humble, then you can achieve more, and other people can give you more, can help you more. But if you are too egotistical and too self-centered, then you will not be liked by other people, and then you won't have a lot of opportunities in that regard. So let's just remember this lesson and be very, very humble in order to achieve our goals in life. So that's it for today, and we're going to continue to study the Rockefeller success stories in the future videos. So I will see you in the next video.